All right, good evening. It's straight up time. Share the link and let's get ready to rock and roll on 107.1 FM. Good evening to all of you.
Coming on the street on a chuk-chuk train. Pick up some people, they're not the same. Wearing fancy clothes with different design. Sporting on pure bread and wine. And if you're here at party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line. I join the people and drinking true. That's all I could do. When the music bite me, I jump up and eat the bread. Turn around, see me old grandfather. He was the party chief instructor. And if you're hairy party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, hey. It was my old grandmother, drunk now trying to recover. When the music ringing she hears, she jump up and sing like a rage. And if you hear she party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, she said, inside, outside, inside, outside. Hey! Woo! On the street on a chuk-chuk train. Pick up some people, they're not the same. Wearing fancy clothes with different design. Sporting on pure bread and wine. And if you're here at party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line. I join the people and drinking true. That's all I could do. When the music bite me, I jump up and eat the bread. Turn around, see me old grandfather. He was the party chief instructor. And if you're hairy party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, hey. It was my old grandmother, drunk now trying to recover. When the music ringing she hears, she jump up and sing like a rage. And if you hear she party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, she said, inside, outside, inside, outside. Hey!
attorney Sharon Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
Source.
Okay, well,
maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jerome?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, he was able to arrange meetings and catch-ups with you at any point in the day. He claims
As a friend, yeah.
He claims that through his very close relationship with you, that he's able to get any.
Good evening to you. My name is Mark Benchap. Welcome to Straight Up. All right, Sue has not gotten off the border for us. As you know, what we do here on 107.1 FM, we don't discuss issue for one day. We keep it right there, and we keep bringing it up because it has to be dealt with. It is important for us to know exactly that sort of relationship between Sue and Jack Dale. What we do know is that Sue is a tenant of Jack Dale. And what Sue told me is that his rent is, I believe, either $1 million+ or maybe $2 million per month. I have to go back to that interview I did with Sue. All right. So at the end, I'm not forgetting it. We should not forget it. That is still hanging over his head, and we're still awaiting. We're still awaiting that interview from Vice News. Vice News. Good evening to the folks at Vice News. Good evening to all of you. We all want to hear that report, right? Well, don't forget Sue, what Sue said. How long have you been living at Jack Dale's house?
No, the people just, I don't know what I'm doing. They never do nothing there. You understand?
Yeah. So how long have you been living at Jack Dale's house?
Huh?
How long have you been living at Jack Dale's house?
Hello?
Yeah. How long have you been living at Jack Dale's house?
For 1 year now.
Okay. So how much rent do you pay every month?
I pay 1.2.
1.2 million Guyana dollars?
Yeah.
All right, you guys heard it there. 1.2 million Guyana dollars. That is Sue. Sue has admitted, well, Jack Dale said that Sue is a tenant living right next door to him or across, obliquely in front of his building, or obliquely opposite his building. And Sue has admitted that, yes, he's a tenant. He pays, according to Sue, $1.2 million. What is $1.2 million? It's about 6,000 US dollars per month. 6,000 US dollars per month to live next to Jack Dale. And Sue is no ordinary Sue, right? Sue is a filthy rich guy. He seems to be the middleman. Speaking of middleman, good evening to all of you. He seems to be the middleman for the Chinese business companies or Chinese companies in China and those who are coming to do business in Guyana. Sue might very well not be an ordinary guy. I don't think he's an ordinary guy. He owns a heck of a lot of land in Guyana. He is a multi-millionaire, but he's not one of those millionaires that go around and dash out $1,000 here or dash out a $2,000 there or hand out a kite here and there and so forth and so on. He's not that kind of businessman. He's a smart businessman, very smart businessman. All right. I'm looking at tonight is a solo night. I want to go along with you guys, and whatever is bothering you, feel free to make a comment, and we can discuss whatever issue that you have in mind. Estriado Buenas noches is asking $1.2 million. Yeah, $1.2 million rent. That's just rent, mind you. We're not talking about susu. That's just rent per month. Because remember, some of these guys got to cover their tracks, right? And now I'm not saying that there's anything illegal about that. I'm just saying, in general, people have to cover their tracks. I don't know what's the deal, but I want Vice News to come out quickly with that report. It's not going to be a good report. Jackie, I want to remind you that it's not going to be a good report at all. I just watched a portion of MP Dinesh Jaiprashad's show. His guest was J.R. Crawford, right? Talking about things in Region 6 and agriculture and the sugar estates and so forth and so on. And they made a heck of a lot of sense. And the truth of the matter is that the PPP, sorry that I moved away from Sue. I know Sue, we will be dealing with the Sue issue. Again, Jack Dale, we haven't forgotten about that. We will be dealing with that, right? But it was an interesting program highlighting the situation in Region 6. And I wish to see more of our MPs in the opposition on the ground, not on social media, not on Facebook. Not on Facebook. Go on the ground. Talk to the people. Now is the time to do that. You've got to be proactive, guys, in the coalition. Leave Facebook for other folks. Of course, you can occasionally come on Facebook. You don't plaster yourselves on Facebook every single day. I don't know. Just go on the ground. There's nothing in the cup, mind you. Just I'm trying to say something to some of our coalition. Go on the ground. How many of you guys, let me ask you guys this here. Mind you, the cup has nothing inside. I'm just, FYI, just for your information, the cup has absolutely nothing inside. Good evening. Sometimes I can be a naughty boy, right? Good. Let me ask you guys this. Let's start with Region 10. Region 10 has 2 members of parliament. Let me see if you guys know who those members of parliament are. 2. Region 6 has 2. Do you know who they are? Region 4, I believe, has about 4 or 5. Do you know who they are? Region 1, Region 3, Region 2. Do you know your members of parliament? And if you do, let us be honest. If you do know your members of parliament, how often do you see them? How often are they on the ground? How often do they go in the villages? How often do they go maybe Blackbush Polder to see how the rice farmers are doing? Or the people at Philippi to see how they're doing? Or Evesham. Evesham just had a flood. Evesham, Epsom, and the Brighton area under quarantine had a flood just Saturday. How many of you guys in Kokwani or Ituni have seen your members of parliament recently? I'm not talking about every month or every 2 months or every 6 months. You've got to be on the ground if you want the votes. If you want people to go out and vote for you, you've got to encourage them. You just can't wait until it's elections time and then go campaign time and go hug them and take pictures and all these manner of, it's not going to work. People are smarter than that. Somebody's saying Joan Robertson, good evening. And that Robertson, I'm sure the Robertson, most of them come out from Maikoni side, right? You got to connect to the people. Connecting to the people, leave that for me to come on Facebook or on radio or whatever it is. Leave that for me. Leave that for others. But again, I'm not saying that MPs cannot come on Facebook. I'm not saying that. Of course, they can pop on occasionally, to highlight what's happening on the ground, whether it's Bartica, go there. When last you heard what's happening in Bartica? Other than the other day, they had, Bartica Regatta. Oh, I love that. I went there many years ago. Sorry. Yeah, I love that, right? But we just don't need to hear about Bartica Regatta, the bubble sessions. It's okay. I don't have a problem with bubble sessions, mind you. But we need to see development. We need to hear from the people on the ground. And that is why we want our members of parliament to work for their money. $250,000 a month? That's a lot of money. But of course, some of them think it's a small piece. And that being an MP is just a part-time job because they have other jobs. 95% of our MPs have other jobs. So they only focus on MP's position once in a while, maybe coming on Facebook and talk, and then they disappear to their other jobs because they have far more important things to do than your business. What you and I have voted for them to do, to stand up and represent our interest. Now, they hardly do that. We've got to be honest. Not because I'm sympathetic, and everybody knows that I'm sympathetic so far, still, to the coalition. I'm still sympathetic towards them. I may give them a couple of lashes and so forth, but I'm still sympathetic towards them. For now, still, right? But they're really pissing people off. A lot of them are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're distracted. I don't know what's happening, but I hope they'll get their act together as quickly as possible. That's all. Some of them are going to get vexed, but I'm not here for them to like me. I'm here for them to do their job, what they have been elected/selected to do. Because many of them, if they go out on their own, they're not going to be elected. Trust me, they're not going to be elected. But then again, when you talk and you try to, sorry that I'm doing up my hands, I'm just sorry about that. Let me try to control myself, right? But then when you say that you don't see them on the ground standing up to represent your interest, guess what they do? They try to use reverse psychology. They say that the people got to go out. The people can't sit and only depend on us, or to depend, meaning on them, the politician in the opposition, to go out. The people got to go out. No. I don't subscribe to that. I don't buy into that, right? The people have elected you guys in the opposition to go out and represent their interest, represent our interest, whether it's on the quarantine, whether it is in Linden, Ituni, whether it's Bartica, whether it's Letem, whether it's Madja, in Georgetown, Belladrum, Weldad, Port Morant, wherever. You guys have to go out to represent the people's interest. And when you go out in numbers as politicians, as political figures in the opposition, guess what? People will join you guys. People will be motivated. But you cannot be elected officials living the nice life with $250,000 per month. It's good money. I don't care, some of you may suck your teeth. $250,000 per month is good money. Plus, you guys don't have to pay a toll. Plus, you have duty-free concessions. You know how many Guyanese? 90% of the population don't have access to those sort of things. 90%. So go out and represent the people, man. Represent the people. Sometimes people think those of us who are not there, those of us who are not elected, are the ones who are doing more work than anything else. Well, some of you guys just think it's fancy and think it's politics to sit on Facebook and pompous yourselves. This is not a fashion show. This is not a show. This is not, politics is not about who like you or who ain't like you or who comment and say something nice, you know, and say something nice like Wendy Emmanuel here. I'm going to read what Wendy Emmanuel said. Facts, Mark, facts. And then I'm going to be so, oh, thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy, where are you listening to us from? Thank you, Wendy. Paulette Hawk, oh my gosh. She agrees with me. Hi, Paulette. Thank you for agreeing with me. Oh my gosh. Tessa, thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I just spilled my actual drink, actually. One of them probably who getting vexed with me as an MP. They probably get vexed that and sucking the teeth at me, right? Make joke. But anyways, back, it's serious business. They're not representing their people. For the most part, they're not. They're not. And then they get upset when you talk. Lots of things happening. Bad things happening in the country, man. Bad things. Now is the time that they have to put boots on the ground, not slippers or sandals and these sort of things. Boots on the ground. People are disgusted. They're dissatisfied with the PPP. The PPP is all about corruption, massive corruption. They're not concerned about their constituency. They're not concerned about representation of the people and these manner of things. They're not. Corruption, corruption, corruption. If every day they can sign a deal for $3 billion or whatever, it's a photo op for them. They're not concerned about anything. That is not vision. That is not a way to run a country by just signing deals every day. Signing deals doesn't do good for a country. It's proper vision and policies, how you execute those policies. That is what makes a country develop properly. It is not developing under the PPP. And so these guys in the opposition have to stop being afraid and speaking out and all these manner of things. Hit the streets. Hit the streets, right, Miss Booker? Hit the streets. Mr. Collins, hit the streets indeed. Garfield Collins is saying, keep the pressure up on them. All of us have to keep the pressure up, not just to Mark. You know, I've had my decades of work there on the ground, boots. And if you check my boots, they're probably all looking like this. Real boots on the ground. This is not putting on fancy stuff and coming on Facebook, like I've said. Put boots on the ground. That is what you call politics. That is what you call grassroots politics. That is what you call grounding with my brothers and my sisters. You've got to hit the ground if you want to be effective. And hitting the ground doesn't mean you got to come out every day and protest. But what you can do is very often visit members in your constituencies. Talk about empowerment. Talk about the good things and offer them some sort of hope. But you cannot be politicians. You cannot be members of parliament and people don't know who you are. People don't know what you're about. And they get one youngster in Linden. He's a member of parliament, but all he does for the most part is talk about tourism, because tourism happens to be his other job. And look, I'm not knocking at that youngster. I can't remember his name, but it's not Jermaine Figueroa. It's the other one, right? And I don't want to hear people got to live. People have to survive. If you are going to be a member of parliament and then hold the position that people got to live, well, be one of us, the regular people. Be one of us. Be one of those regular folks in your constituency. Be one of them. Just be one of them. Kellon Joseph. Look, that's the member name, Divin Sears. Haven't heard you on any issue. That is correct. You're not hearing these people on proper issues. But when you talk, they get vexed. But look, I'm a big man now, right? Grown man. I ain't got no licks forget. Well, keep my mouth shut. Okay, the office door is closed. I ain't got no licks to get, right? From these politicians. Absolutely not. The guy out in Linden, who is supposed to be an MP, you hardly see him on the ground. You hardly see him visiting areas. You hardly see him talking about the concerns, the plight of the people. But he's more concerned about tourism and tourism and tourism and party and party. Come on, Divin Sears. You can do better. If you are not comfortable being a member of parliament, well, just give it to somebody else who can do the goddamn job better. Story done. But watch them tomorrow. The nurses and other workers at Linden Hospital Complex were terminated by that little chubby guy named Small. That is not too small. Terminated about 40 of them. Then had to reinstate them. But it was people like London, Apostle London, Nigel London. And I've also noticed the chairman, Mr. Deron Adams, was busy out there as well. Kudos to those two guys. But Nigel London is not an elected official. Nigel London is not being paid to do what he's doing. He could easily be tending to his chickens and ensure that that PPP lady's dog doesn't go and a dog don't go and suck out all the chicken eggs and all these things and eat out the man chicken. That PPP lady, right? Nigel London could have been farming, but he puts his stuff aside so that he gets whatever time to come out and represent the mining town, represent Region 10. He's not an elected official. Kudos to you. Nigel London. And I must admit that I see quite often now the chairman of Region 10 on the ground, Darren Adams. Thank you, sir, for your representation of Linden. Others need to be doing more. I notice Jermaine Figueroa, through the PAC, which is the Public Accounts Committee, he's trying his best with those Looney Tunes in the PPP. But we need our members of parliament who are brave enough to go out. Don't be afraid. Stand up against these goons, these PPP goons. Don't be afraid. Darren, I know Linden Tongue Day is coming up. All you're thinking about is party, throne dance and tourism. I don't know, man. I don't know. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look, for speaking the truth, look at what Vicky. And for a man, you have a really nice name, Vicky. I don't know if it's for short for Victoria, but I'll call you Vicky too, right? Vicky. Hi, Vicky. But we're not going to give Vicky this. We can give Vicky. We haven't seen this in a while, but Vicky, this is for you. I have two stuff for you, Vicky. I'll first give you this one here because this is what you want. This is what you will get. All right, so we give Vicky that. Vicky deserves another award, you know, and we'll play another song for Vicky. We play a song for Vicky. Vicky, this is for you, man. Let's take this quick break. We'll get a snack or something, or you guys get something to drink, but we play this for Vicky also.
Yeah, you already know what I want. Let me go. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Wrong Polari, tiny Polari, fat Polari, born Polari, any Polari, I eat same Polari. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, run it up and fry 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, put some sour pan 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, you know I really want 'em. Even if it's for a gal, give me, let me eat 'em. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari.
Vicky, that's for you, man. You see, we don't disrespect people here at all. You know, you want Polari, we'll give you Polari. Well, I wouldn't, but these guys are something else, man. They come out of the blue. That's why we call them trench grapple. Trench grapple, right? They usually come, this is why they come here, right? They come as a distraction. They have nothing good, nothing better to do with their time. Well, of course, they watch this show and their bumps raise when the truth is told. Their bumps raise, they get all upset. And, you know, they do that. They do that sometimes without rum, right? Vicky, short for Victoria, right? I notice you guys like the tune, right? We'll give it to Victoria again.
Yeah, you already know what I want. Let me go. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Wrong Polari, tiny Polari, fat Polari, born Polari, any Polari, I eat same Polari. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, run it up and fry 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, put some sour pan 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, you know I really want 'em. Even if it's for a gal, give me, let me eat 'em. Give me Polari, I want Polari.
He wants Polari, right? Give him Polari. You guys know where that song came from. Let me see if you guys do. I know Lemon is locked away in his basement. They know that song, Polari. They know the original version of that song, right? Give him Polari. All right, what else can we talk about tonight, man? I do hope that those politicians could stop saying, those opposition politicians would stop saying that people got to go out. People got to, of course, people can do so, but people want to see you, the elected officials, do that. That is what you're being paid to do, right? So go out and do that. What's the other issue? The other issue, while, mind you, if you notice, I don't burn my energy up on I wouldn't want to say small matters, but I look at the bigger picture that while we are fighting on these minor issues that are important still, the PPP stealing billions and billions of dollars, and every day they're signing some deal and all these manner of things. And it appears, not just appears, only one set of people getting the billions and billions of dollars of deals. And the only time that you find the other set of people getting something is when crumbs is thrown at them. Crumbs is thrown at them, or a kite, or $1,000 or $2,000. And then they want everybody to clap and say, hey, they're good people. They're good people. You know, meanwhile, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars off the backs of ordinary working class people. You know, ordinary working class people. All right, what else can we talk about? I notice, who is it here? Eon Williams. Eon, good evening to you. Eon is one of those supporters, man. He's on every single night, on also every show. Eon has got to be either a businessman, he's probably a gold miner, or he probably sells fuel, or he is probably rich, filthy rich. And if you are that rich guy, Eon Williams, I'd love to, whenever we meet, I'll hold the umbrella for you. Trust me. I'll feel comfortable holding that umbrella for you, Eon. But Eon says here, the IRI, which is the International Republican Institute, I believe it is. And that institute is in Guyana. Do something with electoral reform and so forth. It's they're being funded by the U.S. State Department, right? And so they did a poll recently. The PPP doesn't like the poll, obviously. Surprised that they're rejecting the poll. Jagger doesn't like the poll. Gil Teixeira doesn't like the poll. Irfan doesn't like the poll. I'm not sure if Kwame has objected to the IRI poll or not. I'm not sure. But they don't like the poll because it wasn't favorable to them. The poll actually spoke the truth about widespread corruption throughout the country. Corruption at every governmental level, every agency. Corruption upon corruption upon corruption. And they don't like it. So Smokey got on and objected to the questions asked, that they are yet to find one person who was actually questioned. One person. So it seems as though, according to Smokey, that they're going around asking people, you take a poll? You take a poll? You take a poll? They're going around asking people if they take a poll, if they were part of a poll. Well, let me suggest this to Gil Teixeira and Jack Dave and Irfan. If you want to find out if people were part of that poll, go right now to the cathedral and interview all of the workers at the cathedral. Ask them that particular question, and you'll get the response that you're looking for. A bunch of dotish people. Dotish indeed. I don't know. But that's who they are. But when Vishnu Bistram comes out with his little poll that makes no sense, but it feels nice and good for the PPP. They love Vishnu Bistram's, God in heaven knows, you can't even call that poll. But he runs around and parades himself as a pollster. But when he comes out with his poll, and his poll is always favorable. The other day he wrote something. His polls are published by him, just himself. That's all, his polls. Call some nonsense. NAFTA, North American Association, whatever it is. Dotish poll. They love Vishnu Bistram's poll. because he is a self-proclaimed pollster. They don't ask the sort of questions that Vishnu Bistram, who sits maybe in his attic or his basement somewhere in Queens, and they don't question, oh, who did you ask the question to? You know, how come we haven't seen anybody that, or we haven't, they don't care. They love that. And that is why I'm saying that only certain kinds of polls they love. But the IRI poll, they don't like that at all. They're running from it. You know why? Because it stings them. It hurts them. It is deep. And they just can't take it. The truth hurts. That's why Gail Teixeira came out swinging left, right, and center. Left, right, and center about the poll. She doesn't like the poll, the questions. And they're yet to find somebody who was actually questioned. So now IRI is in their bad books. IRI is in their bad books. Look, we gotta look at this. Look at this guy, Darrell. You can tell he's a PPP swine. Trench crappos come out to distract us from what we're doing, but we don't mind. We don't mind. Look at that. Bring it on, operator. Let's go. This is for Darrell.
Yeah, you already know what I want. Let me go. Give me Polari, I want Polari.
Yeah.
Give me Polari, I want Polari.
Yeah.
Give me Polari, I want Polari.
Yeah.
Give me Polari, I want Polari.
Uh-huh.
Round Polari, tiny Polari, fat Polari, born Polari, any Polari, I eat same Polari. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, run it up and fry 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, put some sour pan 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, you know I really want 'em. Even if it's for a gal, give me, let me eat 'em. Give me Polari, I want Polari.
Yeah.
Give me Polari.
You know, it's those guys who are being paid to blog at Office of the President. They're being paid to blog, the Kwame crew. Top Son or whatever is, I can't remember his name, some Abdul and all. These guys are paid to blog. They get dozens of people at Office of the President that got free laptop and all these sort of things. And they come up with these fake names and fake profiles and all these things. So they come and they blog. We know who they are. And so right away, we don't hesitate, we throw them in the trenches now. We have no time for them at all. Absolutely no time. So they don't like the IRI. They don't like the IRI report because it's not in favor of them. Yes, Miss Booker. It's called the Peanut Butter Crew. So they are all from the Peanut Butter Crew. And every time we see them from the Peanut Butter Crew, we can dig the song in them, or we can dig the the donkey in them, because that's who they are. That's what they're about. What else can we talk about? I'm looking at some of your comments. So tell me, what else can we talk about? What's bothering you? I noticed Pastor Sugrim, they frighten them zombie bite them. Indeed, they're afraid, Pastor. They are afraid. You know that, Pastor. We all know that. How is it on in Springlands? How is it on the at Corriverton there, Mr. Sugrim? Hope all is well. Pastor Anil Sugrim. He's onto things. He's a brave guy. He's there on the ground, battling the PPP, battling them on the ground. And look, a lot of PPP supporters are pissed off. A lot of PPP supporters are upset. They are upset at every level. That is why I'm saying, as I've said in the beginning, opposition politicians need to get out. They need to do more. Most of them are not doing their job. Most of them are sleeping. Not just the cop. But a lot of them are worse than that cop who was caught sleeping. I hope everything is okay with that young cop. He's given a warning, and whoever is responsible for sending off these cops, knowing that they have worked over 12 hours, 20 hours, and all manner of things, if his defense is accurate, I see no reason to not to believe the cop that he has worked for 20 hours. But we need our politicians to work 20 hours. They're being paid for that. And being a representative of the people is not a show thing. It's a work thing. Go out and work, just work. Let me see what else is bothering you. Somebody mentioned something about Van West Charles, Dr. Van West Charles, and leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton. Here's my comment on this. A situation like this should be handled properly, or should have been able to nip in the bud early o'clock. Instead of all these public utterances, public accusations thrown at each other, and so forth. What can I say about this? Norton says that Van West Charles wants to be middleman in pushing PPP's engagement. I don't know whether that is accurate or not. But here is what I will say about the perception, is that Dr. Richard Van West Charles is a businessman. Dr. Richard Van West Charles is before the court. Well, he has won his case. They have unjustifiably gone after Dr. Richard Van West Charles. Dr. Richard Van West Charles stood up and fought for his company like anything else. He has that right to do so. We live in a small society. Sometimes you will see politicians talking with folks from other side of the aisle. During the Correlations era, or time in office, the then Minister of Finance was cutting cake with the Shadow Minister of Indigenous Affairs and other opposition MPs then, PPP, they were cutting cake, sticking cake with each other, eating cake, drinking, sporting up with each other. And it seems to be a problem, right? It's acceptable. But now Van West Charles is being accused by leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, of wanting to be a middleman for the PPP. Look, I don't know what's going on, but I am not going to buy into this thing, because this has always seemed to be an excuse. PPP, 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 always an excuse. And we've got to stop with this. Now, if Dr. Van West Charles do not want to be an advisor to Aubrey Norton, right, to Aubrey Norton, then he should not have accepted that position. Story done. He should not have accepted that position. Move on. You didn't win the leadership of the PNCR. Move on and run your business. Story done. Just run your business. Because if you are going to be an advisor for someone and they're not listening to you or whatever, just move on. And at some point in time, you'll find other ways in which you can assist. Just move on. But there will always be this perception, and it will be thrown out there as a political tool. That's all. As a political tool. Who is PPP and who is not PPP? It will be thrown out there as a political tool. But whatever is happening between these two gentlemen should not have been made public. They need to settle their scores or settle whatever it is behind the scene. You know, here is what the problem is with some of us. Look at this guy, Egerton David, a good friend of Aubrey Norton. They like when you talk about the PPP. But when you try to be objective, I'm a talk show host, Egerton, right? I have that right to give an opinion, whether you like that opinion or not. I have a right to give an opinion. That is what it is, my opinion. Your facts might be different from mine. That is all I'm saying to you, Egerton. My facts can very well be different from yours. I am offering my opinion. Whether you like my opinion, whether you agree with my opinion or not, it is my opinion. And that is what makes democracy healthy. So take that shut your mouth stuff to somebody else. Take it to some other program. But please don't come here with that. All right. So what can we move on and talk about now? But I hope that they will get their act together. That is what I hope. They will get their act together, because while they're doing these things and throwing allegations and accusations against each other, the PPP is laughing. And while the PPP is laughing, you're demoralizing your support base. Now is not the time for this at all. If Dr. Van West Charles is uncomfortable being an advisor, just go and run your business, Dr. Charles. Run your business. And allow the leader of the party to do his thing. Story done. Simple as that. Finish it off. And if you notice all of the media, well, we know the suspects them. They're running with the story because they want to start the fire. They want to poke it a little more. They're running with the story. That is the headline. We know who those media people are. So I hope that they get their act together and just move forward. Move forward in challenging, confronting, and dealing with real issues. We don't want to be arrogant like some of these people when you offering an opinion, they tell you about shut your mouth. And Egerton, you from the old school, man. I expected better from you. You know, not because you disagree with somebody, you tell them to shut them out. Damn it. Those are the kind of turn off thing. It turns supporters off. Because you guys feel you guys have all of the facts. You know everything. Y'all know everything. Right, Egerton? You want to come? I can call you right now and you can give us the facts since you seem to have the facts. Come on, Egerton. Wake up. Wake up. What else? What else, you guys? What else? You know, there's always this speculation, you know, that and rumors, you know, rumors. I'm not batting for Dr. Charles here. He's a big man. He should defend himself. But I'm just saying that the way this entire matter is being handled, it's not handled properly. It's not being handled properly. That's all I'm saying. They're big men. Sit down and iron your differences out. While all of this is happening, guess who's smiling? Guess who's laughing? The PPP is laughing. Just a look at them. Every day they're fighting at each other. Every day they're fighting at each other. Let me shut my mouth before Egerton beat me up. Because I guess some of them like they only want to hear what they want to hear or bully people into hearing, but nobody gonna bully me. Right? I hope you know that, Egerton. I hope you know that. And then when you say these sort of things, you try to be objective, then they hear that, oh, Mark don't like Aubrey, and all kind of silly, totish, inconsequential things that, you know, make no sense. Well, let me get back to Egerton. And mind you, Egerton, I know Egerton, you know, we're not strangers to each other, you know, but I know look, let me tell you all about Egerton. Egerton was once the vice chairman out in Region 10, I believe. And Egerton, for Egerton David, Aubrey Norton does nothing wrong, right? You'll never find Egerton disagreeing with Aubrey. Never. But that's what friends are for. And I respect that. That's what friends are for. All right, Egerton, so don't feel any way. But I just don't think, I think that when people share a different view, our politics got to be more mature now, my friend, that you don't tell people to shut up. See, that's where the problem comes. That's where the problem comes in. Because if I disagree with you, I will respectfully offer another view. I wouldn't say shut up. Those sort of little boy politic days are over, my friend. They're over. They're over. Oh, shut up. Look, Egerton, relax and have a good night. But I still respect the fact that people take the time out to listen. Egerton does. He's a regular listener, man. But like he get hurt. He get hurt tonight. And we're not going to give him any song or anything. He doesn't deserve that. He's a good guy, right? But he got a little hurt tonight. That's why he was brutal. Tell him, oh, shut up. All right, let's see what else we can talk about. We still have another 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes more. Another 5 minutes more. What else can we talk about? What else you guys want us to talk about that we haven't discussed? You know, I was going to bring up these 3 fishermen. They're still missing, right? Nobody's concerned about these people. Nobody's concerned. No one, you know. Nobody's concerned. Those in authority are not concerned. The Minister of Agriculture is not concerned. He doesn't give a damn about these people and their loved ones. Weeks now they're missing. Weeks they're missing. Another fisherman on the quarantine at Alverston Village is missing. Have you seen the Minister of Agriculture visiting these people's place, their homes, comforting their loved ones? No, nothing. Story dead. It's done with. I hope, though, that the opposition, there will be a team to go out and visit these people. Visit their loved ones, Visit their loved ones. Go out there. Go on the ground. Come elections time, you'll want their loved ones to vote, right? Yeah. But don't just remember their loved ones during elections time. Remember them now. Now is the time to remember them. Let me quickly bring this to your attention. Let me bring this to your attention as I noticed there's a comment from GT Rude Girl. You know, people find all sort of names. GT Rude Girl. Good evening, GT Rude Girl. The situation with a youngster in Russia, his name is Sean Pike. He's still in jail. He's still there. And you know, Ukraine is more important to Russia right now than a Jehovah Witness or Jehovah Witnesses who are locked up. But we got to keep praying for our brother, Sean Pike, who's still locked up, still in jail in Russia. Thanks for that reminder, GT Root Girl. And let me see what Aliyah Waldron. Mark, I want to know when the coalition will start actually playing politics. I don't know. Egerton David, can you answer that question? Right. Since Egerton David seems to know it all, can you answer that question? Look, but Aliyah, I don't know, and that is what we all want them to start playing politics. But usually what they do, right, Aliyah, they say the people gotta, of course the people gotta come out and do what they have to do. But the people have elected officials, leaders who should be doing that. They need to. These politicians are the ones who need to go out. Remember, a lot of them jumped on a airplane and they said they're coming and putting boots on the ground in New York, right? It's more important for them to put boots on the ground in New York. If you see them at the Brooklyn rally, yeah, boots on the ground, right? When people, it was in the midst of the pandemic. And in Guyana, they were saying that they kept finding excuses not to protest in Guyana. not to have these sort of rallies and things in Guyana. Oh, because of COVID-19, and we've got to be responsible, we've got to be careful. But they were out in Brooklyn. They were at a protest rally or whatever you call it. They were there. They were greeting people. They were taking selfies. They were having fun. So they only know when to come out and when to parade themselves, only when the camera is there. Lights, cameras, action. And they're out there. They're ready to pompous themselves, to showcase themselves as though they're doing something. You remember when they started that protest at Square of the Revolution? Y'all remember that, right? Coffee was happy to see them doing something. Happy to see them doing something. Coffee was smiling because you know that's exactly what Coffee did. He fought against those slave masters, right? And so after a couple mornings, that's it. I saw a photograph again of Coffee, and Coffee face was vex. I'm sure when some of those same MPs drive around Square of the Revolution side, Coffee probably sucking his teeth at them when they drive past. You know, they shouldn't even drive past by Coffee Square, man. Coffee should just, right? But they were there for a couple mornings, for 1 hour, couple days for 1 hour. They make sure that the camera on them, and they're gone, they disappear. They can't sit in the sun without camera for 2 hours. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. They got to have the cameras there so that they could talk. Look nice, sound nice, and God in heaven knows what some of them will say, and they're gone their way. The story done. That's the sort of politics they're doing. And I hope that they get their acts together, and pretty soon, really, really soon, if Aubrey Norton wants to have me as an advisor pro bono, right? Write it on paper and say, Ben Sharp, I want you to be an advisor on effective protest. How to protest in a hot sun, or when it's raining, or even when it's cold. You don't protest and act up with a camera. You protest for a good cause because it's from within your heart. You know that it's a good cause. And whether you're hungry, whether you're thirsty, be out there protesting. Stand up and represent the people. That's what you guys are there for. Represent the interest of the people. I don't know. I just don't know. But if Aubrey wants me to advise on protesting and so forth and so on, because remember, Aubrey, you don't have the strategy for everything, my friend, right? You need advisors, not middlemen, advisors, right? I wouldn't be a middleman, because being a middleman is uncomfortable business. You'll be a straight shooter. And I'll be the kind of advisor that will shoot straight. Now, I'm not begging for anybody to make me an advisor or anything. Don't get me wrong, right? But I'm not going to be no middleman. I'm not. Middleman. Let me see what Lekram is saying here. Lekram, what's going on, man? Lekram, I agree with you. Lekram is saying, Mark, we need a strong opposition. We do need a strong opposition. But right now, we don't have a strong opposition. Some of them might have good intentions. Don't get me wrong. But there's too much bad blood, man. Bad blood. And as soon as somebody does something one of them, like Smalley's, he gets slinging shot. You know, I could picture Egerton David with his slinging shot looking for me. Clutux, right? And I'm looking with a cutlass for Egerton David, or somebody looking for Crawford, or somebody looking for Aubrey Norton, or somebody looking for Lekram, or Winston. But too much bad blood. We all can agree on the same thing, but at some point in time, all will have to be on the table. Put our differences aside and start looking the best interest of the people. Not just coalition supporters, but the people in general. A lot of PPP supporters are hurting. They are punishing. They are fed up of the PPP. I don't know. I think I've said enough tonight. Odinga. Hey, what's going on? Odinga, heal up. Odinga is saying here the coalition fear of getting arrested by the PPP. Not everybody cut out for handcuffs on them. Not everybody cut out for sleeping on a cold concrete at Brickdam lockups or Lagrange lockup or Linden, Mackenzie lockup or Borbies, New Amsterdam, Rosal, Skellen or Blairmont or wherever. Not everybody cut out for lockups. But I do believe that if you want to be a leader of politicians or members of parliament to represent the people, you've got to be strong enough to take whatever comes your way, whether it's being locked up, whether it's being at breakdown, whether it's being in jail. You've got to do that. You've got to be prepared for that. A few years ago, Comrade Ramjatan said to me that he is not prepared to be locked up. He is not going to be locked up for anyone. And I always remember those words from Comrade Ramjatan. I'm not picking on Comrade. I know last night I put him sleeping. Right? I know last night I put him sleeping, right? So I'm not picking on Comrade. But when somebody is supposed to be a leader is telling me or telling the people that they wouldn't risk being locked up for them, for the people, it tells a lot about that individual. What about Mandela and all those guys who put their lives on the line? Mandela spent close to 28 years in prison. 28 years. Nothing compared to a 5+ years nothing compared, but 28 years in prison for the rights of his people, for standing up for what's right. Look at Dr. Martin Luther King, assassinated for what is right. That is why all of us can enjoy the benefits that we are in the United States of America as a result of people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others who have made those sort of ultimate sacrifices. Some of us, whether we are in Brooklyn, whether we are in New Jersey, whether we're in Atlanta, whether we're in Queens too. Yeah, all of us. So as leaders, I want those folks who are political leaders to know that sacrifices have to be made at some point in time. And even if you got to be locked up, so be it. But getting back to Odinga, people want to play nice boy politics, nice boy politics, nice girl politics. I've got to go, man. I've got to go. I've got to go. I'm looking at some of your comments, but I've got to go. Some of you who are 100% diehard coalition or PNC supporters might get a little upset. It's okay. Not every night we're going to embrace each other and so forth and so on. You know, not every night. Yeah. Not every night. But yes, I wanted to make this point about the fires, the suspicious fires all over the place. Remember the hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, right? So them PPP people happy now for now. They're happy for now. But don't be surprised if they're going back to their old tricks again, right? Because when these fires were taking place, they rush and they holler, oh, it's people overseas, it's coalition folks overseas, and all manner of things. We knew what they were attempting to do. But remember this here? Remember this here? Remember? This was the fire at Ivleri. This guy in the white, that's not sweat. That's whatever else running down him, but that's not sweat. He's not a hard worker. He sleeps on the job. But this is what he said. He said that he stopped the Guyana Fire Service from issuing a report on their findings, a public report on their findings. He didn't want them to do that. He didn't. He didn't want them to do that. Right? He did not. To this day, we don't know what that report says because they're ashamed to publish the report because it didn't go hand in hand with what they want the public to believe. But we know where these fires and why these fires were being set. We know. Robeson Ben, where is the fire report? Where is the fire service report? They can't. And they wouldn't show you guys. Right? For obvious reasons. Just like the SOPs. You remember the PPP guys, them every night they're on this show. SOPs. Do you guys see SOPs now? Do you hear them saying anything about SOPs? They don't want to. Because were those SOPs to be open, they will see it's the PPP was the corrupt culprit in the 2020 elections. Why do you think that, I noticed a comment about the petition. Why do you think they don't want the petition to be heard? Why do you think that? They don't want the petition to be heard. They are afraid of the petition. They don't want it to be heard. They have rigged the elections. They know that. A guy jumped all the way from the US, right? And they put dunk, red carpet for him. I don't know. Red carpet they put on for him. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. All right. So what else we can talk about? We'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. But they have all the shows you guys can watch during the course of the day. Tomorrow morning from, I believe you can watch Kadaki's show. Kadaki is raw. He tells them like it is. Keep up the good work, Kadaki. There are other shows that you can watch from 9 o'clock. We have right here on 107.1 FM with Gabby and Selector Andre and Josh and Earl. Watch them in the mid-morning. And then we also have other shows that you can watch. Other shows you can watch also in the morning. I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Yes, Tom is on tomorrow. Thank you, Charlene. Tom is on tomorrow. Tom Anderson is on tomorrow. Thomas Anderson is on tomorrow. All right, let's see what we can do for you guys before we leave. Right, Lemon? Can we do something? What are we going to play for? Let's go. We'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time.
Yeah? You already know what I want. Let me go. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Round Polari, tiny Polari, fat Polari, born Polari, any Polari I eat, same Polari. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, run it up and fry 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, put some sour pan 'em. Gal, you gotta make 'em good, you know I really want 'em. Even if it's for a gal, give me, let me eat 'em. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari. Yeah. Give me Polari, I want Polari.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Coming on the street on a juk train, pick up some people, they're not the same. Wearing fancy clothes with different design, sporting on pure bread and wine. And if you hear them party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line. I join the people and drinking true. That's all I could do. When the music bite me, I jump up and eat the bread. Turn around, see me old grandfather. He was the party chief instructor. And if you hear it party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. You give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, it was my old grandmother, drunk now trying to recover. When the music ringing she hears, she jump up and sing like a rage. And if you hear she party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, she said, inside, outside, inside, outside. Hey, woo! On the street on a juk train, pick up some people, they're not the same. Wearing fancy clothes with different design, sporting on pure bread and wine. And if you hear them party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line, party time. Give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my line. I join the people and drinking true. That's all I could do. When the music bite me, I jump up and eat the bread. Turn around, see me old grandfather. He was the party chief instructor. And if you hear it party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. You give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, it was my old grandmother, drunk now trying to recover. When the music ringing she hears, she jump up and sing like a rage. And if you hear she party time, give me all night, hey, party time. Sport is my life, party time. Sport is my life, she said. Inside, outside, inside, outside. Hey! Woo! I join the people and drinking true. That's all I could do. When the music vibe made, I jump up and eat the bread. Turn around, see me old grandfather. He was the party chief instructor. And if you hear me party time, give me a light, yeah, party time. Sport is my light, yeah, party time. Give me a light, yeah, party time. Sport is my life, cause you're gonna jump down there.